Hi, my name is Dean Barrett, and I'm a writer, and I live in Bangkok, Thailand. But I've written historical fiction, and I love tall ships. And in 1857, the two novels I was writing about, Hong Kong and southern China, I realized that I needed a tall ship. And I wrote about the tall ship, but I was wishing I could get on a tall ship because I like to be accurate and that sort of thing. And then somehow I found some literature about Her Majesty's ship, the Rose, which was commissioned about 1757. And it was a frigate, 24-gun frigate, which did some real damage to Rhode Island during the Revolutionary War because it blockaded Rhode Island. Well, in 1970 in Nova Scotia, they actually did an exact replica. They made a replica of this ship, and I wanted to get on it. I found some literature, and it said there are no passengers on the Rose. Basically, they meant you were going to work your derriere off, which is exactly what I wanted, because I wanted to know how the crews lived and worked and everything on board a ship. And I was 51 years old at the time, so I thought, well, I can handle this. So I got on board the ship, and it turned out to be the HMS Rose, which was, if you saw the film Master and Commander with Russell Crowe, that's the ship they used in the movie, which was all to the good because it's a beautiful ship. There's nothing more beautiful than a tall ship in full sail. And I was assigned the 24 guns, the 24 cannons. If that sounds romantic, I was actually assigned to clean 24 cannons. And just in case we went into battle, and I thought, yeah, sure, we're going to go into battle. Well, little did I know at the time. But anyway, the thing is, I set a new record on the Rose, I'm proud to say. It's never been equaled since, I'm told. In the first 36 hours out at sea in the Atlantic, I vomited 8 times. And that has never been recorded, which surprised me because when I lived in Hong Kong for 17 years, I'd been out on China junks, and it was much choppier sea, which is why I didn't prepare myself to go out into the Atlantic. I thought, no problem. Well, it was a problem. Anyway, every time Russell Crowe went below deck, I would think to myself, he'd go somewhere, and I'd say, I wouldn't actually go there if I were you, because we didn't have a chance to finish cleaning that up, because we got all hands on deck, a storm's coming, you know. But anyway, he paid no attention to me. He's in a movie, so fine. I'm glad he didn't slip and slide and break something on my vomit, but okay, maybe they cleaned it. So we went out, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. As Joseph Conrad wrote about it, especially at nighttime, he said something like, the nearest place to God is 1,000 miles from land. And it's just so incredible that you standing there at the helm, because you see, when you're on a tall ship, they won't let you do everything, and you become exhausted. We didn't have any water. We had cleaning water. Drinking water. We had no water to clean, which nobody wanted anyway, because you are so dead tired off of your shift. You lie in a cot that's swinging, and you're dead to the world. And then somebody rouses you, and it's your turn either to take the helm, or to do bow watch, or to boat check, whatever it is. And at nighttime, it's just so beautiful. The stars are up there, and the ship has been made to look exactly like a tall ship from that period. They have a Loran and some of the radar and stuff, but that's down below, and that's in just a small corner of the ship. But at nighttime, especially, you hear the wind and the rigging. I could just barely make out the bow watch as a cigarette. And it's like being in another world, and I really loved it. And then, so Captain Bailey, who was our captain, was also the captain credited for Master and Commander. He was still there, obviously, years later. And he was a totally mad captain, but he was mad in the sense of a captain you would want to have on a tall ship. So I went up one afternoon, and the sun was kind of blotted out from over this way, and I looked, and it was a frigate. It was a modern frigate. Now, we were a frigate, but we were, an old-fashioned frigate. This is a modern frigate going by, which is one of the smaller ships in the U.S. Navy, but to us it was like the, Empire State Building turned on its side, and it's coming in front of our bow. Now, you do not cross Captain Bailey's bow, okay? So the second mate said, look at the flags. So I looked up, and then they've got the signal flags up, like they used to have in the old days. And to this day, I still don't know if modern captains are expected to know these flags or not. But anyway, Captain Bailey put up these flags that would have been recognized in the 1700s and probably 1800s. And of course, I didn't know what they meant, so he showed me the book. He said, look at the book, and where they're explained. And what it said was basically, do not cross our bow, do not attempt to use your wireless, and they went on with a number of don'ts, and it ended up saying, or we will fire upon you. And I thought, oh, this should get interesting, because this guy kept going across the bow. So Captain Bailey said to these strong guys, go down and bring up a cannon, which they did, put it on deck, and we call it a 3-pounder, but the ball is what weighs 3 pounds. The cannon, of course, is heavy as hell. So he's pointing this toward this frigate as it goes by, and we put the powder in and all this stuff. And they used to have what I believe was a lint stock to light it. But now we don't have that. So a young guy with earmuffs on went down in some kind of electric cord, and he waited for the captain's order, fire. And when Captain Bailey said, fire, this thing jumped off the deck, the smoke went out. I mean, the noise is incredible. It was just like, back in the old days. It was I could even barely make him out, but I could see a guy running on the modern ship. And I said to the second mate, I said, hey, this is fantastic. Can I be in the boarding party? And he said, actually, that might be the safest place to be. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, they've got ship-to-ship missiles on that. Oh, okay. So we were going at about 3 knots, and they were going about 30 knots like this. And they disappeared. And when they finally disappeared, we celebrated because the enemy had fled the field. No problem at all, and we were having a great time until about 20 minutes later, the Coast Guard cutter showed up and said, heave to. Uh-oh. So they wanted to see Captain Bailey's papers, and they wanted to see the papers of the ship, and they looked them over and said, fine, and they took off, so there was no problem. But if you can believe this, that was not a coincidence. The sailors on board a modern Navy called the Coast Guard to tell them that a 17th century 24-gun frigate had shot a cannonball at them, and boo-hoo, this is their safe space. Can you imagine the pussies in the Navy today? It just boggles the mind. Anyway, until we meet again in the next port, may you have smooth sailing, and take care.